different thing. I believe. All right. Okay, I was reading the wrong thing. Songs of Songs. Okay. Songs of Songs by far is the most debated book in the Bible. From the author, from the author is to how you should view the book and why it's included in the first place. So with that said, our study is going to present multiple views and allow you to decide for yourself. All right. We get to decide some stuff from ourselves, but we're not gonna veer from the word. We not gonna we just gonna go. Okay, let me say that. We just gonna go. Date. Wait, author says a large portion of the evidence of the authorship of Song of Songs suggests King Solomon, but many scholars disagree. Here we go. In reality, nobody knows for sure. The date says, since I believe that the Song of Solomon was written by Song of Songs was written by Solomon, he most likely penned it during the beginning or the middle of his reign, possibly around 950 BC. Hey, Pastor. The audience, Song of Songs was the most likely written to the people of Israel that looked up to King Solomon. So in other words, he had a following. When people get to looking up to you like that, you know there's a following. So he had a following, amen. Solomon wrote to show the importance of a holy marriage and how a romantic relationship was to unfold. Oh, so now we got instructions on what? Marriage. So come on, sometimes we just need to follow. Not sometimes, we need to follow what the Word of God says. Because we all got an idea of what we think marriage is. But what does the Word say the marriage is? Amen? Theme says, God's view of marriage and sex. All right, here we go. Key verse says, set me as a seal upon your heart and seal as a seal upon your arm. For love is strong as death. Jealousy is fierce as the grave. It flashes and flashes of fire. The very flame of the Lord, many waters cannot quench love. Neither can floods drown it. If a man offered for love all the wealth of his house, he would be utterly despised. 8, 6, and 7 EBS version. If you offered everything you think you got, I'm not talking about what you got, but everything you think you got, it ain't doing you no good. It ain't no good, amen. And let's just go on down. It says sections praising the physical attributes, chapter 1, verse 1, 27, verse 1, 2, and 7. Wait a minute. It's chapter 1. Okay, we're going to move on because that's got me a little bit baffled there for a minute. Chapter 1, verse 1. Nope. 1 through 2 plus 7. Becoming more intimate. Chapter 2, 8. 2 and 8, 3 through 5. The possession of marriage. Missing her husband. I mean, it breaks it on down. I got to stop for a minute just because looking at this, now I'm realizing that God is he has set us up for success. But yet we have so many failed marriages. Why is that? And that's really to the class. Why do we have so many failed marriages if we have blueprints to the marriage? First Lady? Come on. There you go.
times you see these women when they get to the Bay Park, they don't want to say that. They don't want.
Mm-hmm.
But then also you have to have somebody that you don't mind obeying. Run everything. And what do I mean by that? Yes, I'm the head of the household. We got to understand what marriage really was. To the class, where did the woman come from?
Man.
The rib. What does the rib do? The major organs in the heart. Why did God take it from there? Most of the time, we men always think that the woman is trying to do us wrong, but God took them from the rib. On the side where the heart and all of the major organs are. They're there as a helpmate to protect and guard us, but we're the overall protection over everything. And we have to be in agreement, in alignment. Just because I'm the man don't mean that I have everything right. And we have to agree to disagree. And I learned something in our marriage early. I would get mad because she fold her clothes different, I fold mine different. She fold her towels different, I fold mine different. And it got to the place that I would unfold my clothes. She'd get upset about me unfolding my clothes because you fold different things. Underwear, she like to fold them out with the thing on it. I want mine folded in and then fold them and put them.
Right.
And she do the towel the different way. So it came the rule, when I wash, I'm doing it my way. When you wash, you do it your way. Because if you can't stand the way but the towel's gonna get pulled out anyway.
Exactly.
And I fold to make space. Because I try to compact stuff. And she folds for the neatness and where it's easy access.
Right.
And we got to come to an agreement. And we have to have communication. In other words, we got to talk about some things. And our thing was, and Sister Good got slick, when she didn't work, food was ready when I got home. And when the kids got home. And then vice versa, it got to the place when she started working, she worked further than I did. But she got off earlier than I did. But the first one home was the first one to cook. So sometimes we play them games where, I'll take it slow. When it's church time, we went out to eat.
Right.
And so if I'm at home, the food is ready because I need to take some load off of you.
Right.
Things are set up because I'm there. Vice versa. When I come home, things are there because I'm trying to make it light on you because you worked all day long, so I'm gonna lift the load off of you.
Right.
So we gotta balance each other. It's nothing wrong with you being a man that you. Well, that's your job. Who told you that was your job? And so I'm saying all of that to say this. I used to tell the Lord about my wife. She cook. I cook. I ain't washing the dishes. I cook. I like to kind of clean stuff up as I go. I don't like all them dishes piled up, and so I would get upset about it. So the Lord's issue was that whatever I wanted her to do, I must be first partaker of whatever it was. So we got to learn to be first partakers.
Right.
I'm not going to ask you to do nothing that I'm not willing to do myself or I have not done. So we gotta get off of all of this. It's your job to clean the house. It's your job to do this here. It's both our jobs. You sleep just like I sleep.
Mm-hmm.
You mess up clothes just like I mess up clothes. Sometimes I can wash clothes. I like my clothes a certain way.
Right.
If she don't, and vice versa. If certain things that I'll mess her clothes up, she won't let me wash them.
Yep.
Vice versa. I won't let her wash them. I'll wash them myself.
Yeah. So now here's a question. I got a question for the class, and y'all just forgive me for poking at people. So in a marriage, a lot of times, as men, sometimes God will show us something, tell us something. But then I've heard it said, well, God didn't tell me that. If God told it to the man, come on, Elder. I know you. I seen he reared back on that one.
If you read your Bible,
Uh-huh.
God is talking to you. And he's talking to you in the Word of God about marriage. First,
If God didn't tell her, He told me,
Mm-hmm.
then somewhere I'm missing something there.
If he told you and didn't tell her, then somewhere you missing something. That would did you?
That means I'm doing something that I'm not doing something God wants me to do. And if I'm a head and I'm the leader,
Uh-huh.
shouldn't I lead out?
Yeah.
So if He's talking to you, that means for you to lead out.
Right.
And if I'm doing what's right, then they'll jump on the bandwagon and follow.
Yes, ma'am.
So there was and Pastor was absolutely right. The word comes
Mm-hmm.
to you first.
Right.
And then if you ignore the word, God still loves you enough that he's still trying to get that word to you.
Mm-hmm.
So he may use your wife, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's no point of you bucking up because your wife said the Lord said this. But you already know because you neglected to obey God. It was a situation, and I woke straight up, and I looked at the man of God, and I said to him, da, 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 da. And he couldn't ignore the fact that God dealt with him, but he ignored it. But when God told me to tell him, there's no way in the world that you can ignore that. So there again, it's your help me.
Mm-hmm.
Your help me is trying to help you, not hurt you, not harm you, but build you up. Right? Pastor, he told me, I'm a listener, especially when it comes to him.
Mm-hmm.
He told me that he was having some problems on his job, and he was real irritated about it. And so I went, and I got him a whole bunch of balloons to cheer him up. And I took him to his job. And he said, I called him later, and I said, did you like your balloons? He said, no. I embarrassed him because I took all these balloons to his job. So I'm trying to cheer you up, right? But you say I embarrassed you? Okay. We got to be careful where we don't let the devil enter in. I went straight over to his house, walked in there, grabbed all them balloons, opened the door, and let them go.
Mm.
And he said, why are you doing that? You can't be ungrateful. When somebody is trying to help you, you shut the door. We got to be careful. Got to be very careful.
Yes, sir.
What is that? The rest of the story was no name on it, no nothing. And when you battling a whole bunch of women at the church and you trying to stay saved, and you battling them, and they said, "Dude, did you get my balloons?" and there was a whole bunch of them trying to talk to me and say they did it. They seen the balloons in the office. I didn't know who they came from. There was no note on there. There was no. She said it later. And I had to battle through some stuff because I used to get notes on my windshield.
Okay.
And they, nasty notes. And so I don't know who it is. One time, a woman grabbed me right in between my legs at work, and I had to go off on them. I'm a preacher,
right?
And so we got to understand. Those was the bad things that I was having when you don't know who it's from,
right?
And it's a secret admirer, and they say over the speaker, "Oh, a secret admirer," and then everybody wanna, "Oh, I got them for you," lying. What do you think?
There you go. So everybody y'all got that? Put your name on it. We'll go for Lee, and then I'm gonna come to you.
All right. Going back to your first question, I think a lot of marriages don't center God in their marriage, and that's probably why a lot of marriages don't work out. That was just one of my topic answers. I was saying a lot of people that get married don't center it around God, so they don't know how to handle situations and stuff. Just marriages in general, yeah.
But there's a lot of divorce in church.
Yeah,
There's a lot of divorce in church.
The world is different.
Right.
When you talk about the Bible, it's telling me I'm the head. We're talking about church people, because the world gonna do what they want to do, because they of the devil. We have to realize that.
Yeah, but still look at it. There's a lot of church folk divorced.
Oh yeah.
Second and third marriages. So it happens. Even when we say we got God as the center of our marriage, we 100% on this. But if I read my Bible correct, the only way God is okay with divorce is if somebody cheats in this. If you decide you want to walk out the door and go get you another woman or man, I got the right to say bye-bye. But we do. But there's a lot. So back in Elder Love's day, I'm going to go back to y'all day too, because a lot of times people stay married. No, I'm not calling you older than me, but a lot of times people stay married because it was in their minds, it was the right thing to do, no matter what the situation was. There was time, I can guarantee you, my mom and daddy stayed together till death did them part. And I got two sisters to prove it, because they both was younger than my youngest brother. So I know my daddy cheated. I met one of them because I went to her mama's funeral, not knowing who I was holding. But honestly, it happens. But my mama, you never heard them talk about it. They never talked about divorce. Matter of fact, I don't remember my mom and dad ever fighting.
In a lot of cases, women didn't have jobs, so they had to put up with it.
My mama always had a job, but she also knew how to shoot. Had that shotgun. Come on, minister. Come on, mister.
That's why it's good to have counsel before you get married. Because a lot of things you think you know, you don't know.
let's just be honest. When the door closed, when you say I do and you get inside, all of a sudden there are things you all of a sudden, wait a minute, where was that at before? I never saw that. Hey, close the door. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's a lot of things that we don't realize until the door closes. Honeymoon's over. Now the reality sets in. We have to get at it now.
But as for a Christian, we pray and seek the face of God. And God will let us know what we're supposed to do, what's right and wrong, if you ask God.
Can you hear me now?
That was the key word.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yes.
you ask God.
Yes.
Some of us don't seek God.
We
We
don't.
just fly off the handle.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us put our feelings. I was talking with Sister Gooden. All of us was married that went down drilling each other to aim.
Mm-hmm.
And you learn sides of each other. And one couple was married for 40 years. And the preacher, all of us have go to the doghouse thing.
Right.
But he told me several times, he said, if anything happened to me, my wife's gonna be lost. She flies off the handle about everything.
Mm-hmm.
And she gets so emotional every time something happens, and he just shake his head, or he'll just sit, not say nothing, act like he's not here.
Mm-hmm.
But that's 40 years of marriage.
Right.
Because they learn to deal with each other.
Right.
And they're able to deal with that emotion. And it's growth. We grow one with another.
Right.
And we have to learn to grow with one another. We have to be willing to hear one another.
Come on.
Hear.
Yes.
Hearing don't mean that I heard what you said and get an attitude. Hear means I really hear from the heart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really listening, because when I get upset, I done shut you down.
Yep.
And you're really not hearing what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way me and Sister Good. I said, I told you that. You didn't tell me nothing. She'll say, I told you. I said, you didn't tell me that. But she did, but I wasn't paying attention, or she wasn't paying attention, because they was occupied in their mind or doing something else.
Yep. There you go. Minister, you ready?
I was going to say that in today's time, the way they put marriage out there on many different levels, how they put marriage out there.
Mm-hmm.
People watch shows, television. We even got some people who may be looking at somebody else's marriage and seeing what's going on with that marriage. Next to knowing how to love someone. If you don't know how to really love and be there for someone, it's always going to be some type of distortion or some type of confusion in there. That's why those marriages don't succeed, because they have how can I say it, a distorted image of what a marriage should be.
Right.
It's a distorted image. So that and it opens up a window for a lot of non-righteous things to take place within the marriage.
Amen. Come on, Pastor.
That is why the Bible said, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtaineth favor of the Lord. You ain't just getting them because of how they look. And it's about a connection. It's about they no longer are twain, but they're one.
Mm-hmm.
You have to move from individuality to oneness. That's why it takes us praying for each other, us listening to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Even when it hurts, we got to listen to the other person and hear what they're saying. They're not saying it to hurt you or harm you, but they're saying to build up. Well, you hurt my feelings, then I'm shutting down.
Mm-hmm.
Or I heard you. Because I was bad at that. I heard what you said. You don't have to tell me 2 times. Third time you tell me I'm frustrated.
Yeah.
And I had to grow to not being 3 strikes and it's over. And really start hearing. If I heard him, and I had this thing, when I tell you what's bothering me,
Mm-hmm.
I'll and you say, I hear you, I'm sorry. Then I say it again, and you do the same thing. I tell you again, maybe I can forgive you then. And then the third time, you do the same thing after I told you twice. My thing was, you just don't care.
Mm.
And that's really not the case. Sometimes people forget. And people are doing things, and they think they're doing things right, but they're doing it wrong. And so, because I had that mindset,
Mm-hmm.
I had to change that mindset. Because how many times have God forgiven me?
Come on.
And God had to start dealing with me because I had that 3-strike rule.
Mm-hmm.
And so in dealing with it, how many times have I messed up that God has overlooked me?
Come on.
And how many times have God told me to do something that I didn't do?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes she was buffeting me because I didn't do what God said do. Vice versa, I'm buffeting her because she didn't do what God said do. Iron sharpens iron. Smooth rocks were round, hurting rocks,
Mm-hmm.
but as the water would flow through them, pushing the rocks together, you get smooth stones.
Yep.
Sometimes that causes us to move to the level of a better me and move to the person that God called me to be, because there's some things that's going to get on my nerves. I heard you, but I still ain't did it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, did you do this? You told me, can you give me it? But I learned to start listening, because at the end, when I didn't do it, it came to bite me.
Mm-hmm.
And so in life, we got to learn to listen to each other,
Yes.
because I'm going to say this and I'm done. Women like to be secure.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not secure, they frantic. How we gonna get these bills paid? How we gonna do this? How we gonna do? Because Sister Goodness asked me all the time, how we gonna? I'm trusting God. It's gonna work out.
Mm-hmm.
And when things fall apart, she'll say, "You told me that it was gonna be okay,"
Mm-hmm.
and she rested everything on that. And a lot of times when we're going through, we pray about it, and then God works it out. Or you really, they like to be secure,
Mm-hmm.
because I need to be secure,
Right.
knowing that it's gonna work out.
And so here's me. There's a couple of things, and I'm just strange sometimes. It's not all the time what you say to me. It's how you say it to me will determine how I respond. So I said that to say, and that worked both ways. Ladies, when you talk to your husbands, please just understand the tone of your voice will determine how a man responds, and vice versa. If I come in and you know my voice is here, like I couldn't even imagine. I'm gonna pick on Lee for a minute, but I couldn't even imagine him coming in the house and his voice way up here, because every time I hear him talk, he's here. But all of a sudden, if he's here, there's a problem, and you know it. So it's the same way with me. If I talk to my wife, and the way that I come at her will determine how she responds. And now we can't hear each other, because now we're trying to get at each other, tit for tat kind of thing. And I say that to say we need to, when we talk about listening to each other, understand, for me, the biggest thing for me is I guarantee you, each man ever tell you, he'll tell you he loved the word respect. Respect me. My wife did this to me. She went to Home Depot and she bought me a toolkit. She didn't say nothing need to be fixed. She just bought me a toolkit. She set it on the table. There's a hole in the wall. I broke out the toolkit. I fixed the hole in the wall. She thought we wanted a deck. She didn't say nothing. When I called somebody, got some help, but I built a deck. Did I know how to do it? Absolutely not. But what I'm saying is if you set the table, an average man will build what needs to be built. He will fix what needs to be fixed. And vice versa. So like Pat said, women like to feel secure. I used to tell my, as long as you come in the house and you flick a switch and the light come on, then everything all right. Don't worry about nothing. You flip that switch and that light come on, we good. I may not pay everything on time all the time, but I'm gonna make sure they get paid, no matter what I have to do. So that works both ways. And I don't know why we here, because we haven't even touched the lesson too much, but it talks about marriage. But the beauty of it is, we all done been through some things. A lot of us already we're married now. I've been 23 years. The trip is we went to Ruth Chris on our 23rd wedding anniversary, and we met another couple who anniversary was on the same day. They had just been married 4 years. So I had to go shake their hand and say congratulations. I'm like, brother, just wait a minute. It's coming down the pike. You don't know it yet. But I wanted to, yes, sir.
I have a question
Uh-huh.
for not just your marriage, but any marriage, like long term. Do you think you could have got that far in your marriage if you guys weren't centered around God?
No.
Okay.
No.
So do you?
Wholeheartedly.
Yeah. So do you think that's the reason many marriages don't make it, because they're not centered, or one partner's not centered around God?
Because you can literally have people who think, I know what marriage look like, or I know what a husband's supposed to be. But my thought is, how do you know what a husband's supposed to be if you've never been married? If your marriage is centered around God, that's the question you got to ask God. How do I approach my husband? How do I approach my wife? How do we do this together? Because I can look at pastor and first lady, but because what worked for them may not work for me. We're different people. So I can't base my marriage on what I see in their marriage. I can take some things from it. It's like anything else. Even when me and pastor sometimes be talking about preaching stuff, and if I mention something to him, he's like, I'm going to use that if you don't mind. I do the same thing to him. Sometimes there's good to take some things from some people. But when you give it to God, that is key. Because God ain't going to steer you wrong. God is not emotional. It's, Go ahead, sir.
One thing we have to realize, God reigns on the just, unjust.
Uh-huh.
So there's a lot of people that been married for years.
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy on TV, they were married 70 years. He ain't saved. But we have choices. I choose to do right. A sinner can do, treat his wife right. But that don't mean he's going to heaven.
But also it don't mean he don't believe in God just because he don't want to get saved or something. There's a lot of folks I believe in God, but I don't believe in all this other stuff. So I don't know. It's kind of crazy sometimes, I think, just because we get so caught up in what we think marriage is supposed to be, that we don't even read the Bible that tells us how a marriage really should be. Look, they say if you started off courting your wife and you cooking romantic dinners or doing romantic things, you got to keep going with that shit, and vice versa. All of a sudden, you get married and the chase and the thrill is gone. Like, who's that? B.B. King said the thrill is gone. All of a sudden, you stop doing those things. Then you wonder what happened.
We used to say years ago that it took to get her, it take to keep her.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Okay, let me get Mother Margie. Somebody get. You raised your hand too? Oh. It's on.
I was married for 10 years, and I have to listen. I learn it. I learn everything I can. But when I make mistake, I had to. I wasn't in no church, but I had to get myself in church to go to God. My marriage was sometimes up and down, up and down. I'll be home cooking, got 2 kids. I did it. But he would go out. And I said, you know what? I'm tired of your mess. And I did what I had to do for me, for God. And I asked God, I said, God, what to do? Because I got tired what he was doing. I said, I'm walking with you, and I'm doing what you asked me. He said, now, you do what you got to do. You do it. And that's what love is for me. I love him.
All right, so but first ladies first.
The man got to love the woman like he loved the church, like Christ
loved the church.
and gave himself for it, right? Same thing. I remember we were in Sunday school, and Dad Johnson, he gone on to meet the Lord now. And the Sunday school lesson was about, would you take a bullet for your wife? And Dad Johnson said, no. And it blew all of us away. But he was being honest.
But I think in the heat of the moment, honestly, in the heat of the moment, it's kind of like when I first started going to church, and somebody asked me to be an usher. So that I called myself a gatekeeper, so I was at the door. I couldn't tell you that I'm going to step in front of anybody for anybody. But if you came through that door with ill intent, you had to get me first. So I think in the heat of the moment, I can say yes. But if I get a moment to think about it, it might be a difference. So that's how come sometimes you see us move a certain way that you look. If you look a certain way, all us men, we don't think about nothing else. We just get up and go. We go 2 ways. That's just it. So we gonna do it. But if I get a chance to think about it, I'm like, I'm not gonna run up on this. So in my mind, I think that's what he was really saying. Like,
okay, so, and you're right, because Pastor oftentimes, I know what he would do. You know what your mate would do, right? I know he would step in. I know that without a shadow of a doubt. And I know that him stepping in is because I'm going to step in too. I am. It's oftentimes that we done heard something in the backyard, and I'll wake him up and say, somebody in that backyard. And he would go downstairs, turn the alarm off, and go outside. I lock the door. I'm just being honest.
right?
Okay? And then he'd come back and he'd knock on the door.
Chris, wait a minute, why you lock the door? What if somebody really was out there?
It's just human nature for me, but I know what he'd do. Now, I'm not going to go outside. He will. Right? And that's, I say that to say this. You have to know what your mate will do and will not do. He knows I'm not going out there. I know he will go out, and he don't want me to go out there. I know that.
Right.
Now, I'll look out the window.
Yeah.
But I do. But he knows me. Right? And he'll tell me, and he has done this numerous times, stay in the house, Dale. My security is not staying in the house. My security is behind his back. And he says, don't, honey, stay there. No, I ain't staying there. I need you.
Yeah, but if I got to holler, call 911, I need you to call 911.
But guess what? My security at that point is not in 911. My security is knowing that he's there and I'm right there with him. That's my security, right? And everybody is different.
Right.
You know, and it all depends again on the scenario or the situation. But as far as my husband, I know what he's gonna do. He's not gonna cower down. No. Mm-mm. He's not. And then what I really, really respect of him, and not because he's my pastor, and I'm talking about my husband. My husband has the right to tell me when I'm wrong and when I'm right. And there's no shame in that. And then I can say this, and I'm getting Mike over. He respects when I can come to him and say, you know what? You was wrong for that. And he can agree. But we had to grow to that. It's all about growth. And it's not putting him down, but he still got to know how I feel about the situation and vice versa. And my thing with him as my husband, if I tell you something and that thing is bothering me, you need to reevaluate that thing. And so over the years, the course of the years, we had to learn. If I say it 2 or 3 times, now he knows I'm going to react. And the react is now I got to remove whatever it is that you negating to do. Now I'm going to do it. And if I do it, it's going to create more problems, or vice versa. It's going to create more problems. So over the course of our marriage, I'll give him 3 days. You got 3 days. 3 and 3 only. And after that, he came home numerous of times. Where's such and such? You had 3 days. It's gone. Vice versa. Because if that thing is bothering me like that, come on, take notice to it. I don't want no friction. I don't want none of that. But if you ignore that and you see that it's bothering me, or vice versa, let's take care of it so we can go to sleep at night.
Y'all listening to this? Because my wife said something to me once. I got this thing. I got this big old thing with Miss Gladys Knight. That is my woman. I told my wife, I said, yeah, if Gladys Knight ever show up, I'm gone. One day we kind of got into it, and she said, I am sick and tired of you talking about Gladys Knight. She said, I wish I had her number so I can call her, tell her come get you. Guess what? Now, I didn't like it, and I thought like anything else. But she know I'm only joking, but she didn't take it that way. But we've never had that conversation again. Gladys Knight is still my favorite singer, but I ain't leaving if she show up. But I won't speak that out loud to her ever again, because she let me know that it bothered her, and I did it for years. I'm like, Gladys Knight, you know, that was just my girl. Midnight Train to Georgia, all that stuff. I'm leaving. You know? I was trying my best, but it's like she said that bothers me. I'm like, all right, come on. Is it Elder or is
But
it?
you took care of it though, right?
I had to. You can't just. Sometimes, and I'm talking to the men now. Sometimes we can be procrastinators because of the way we understood something or the way something was presented to us. And I'm going to show you. I'm not going to do nothing you want me to do because you just didn't come at me the right way. I said it earlier, men love to be respected. That's our love language. Let me say it like that. If you respect me, I do anything under the sun that I can do to make sure we're going to be okay. But if I feel disrespected, like, what are we doing? You can tell me all day long you love me. Disrespect me and I'm ready to go. I've been like, Lord, I need you to help me. Because here I'm ready to go. I just need a couple of fishing poles, my golf club, and a TV in my truck. Like I'm gone. Yes, ma'am. But we also know that literally back in those days they were brought up differently. And I mean, if you could, I guarantee you, if you can catch some of them 80 and 90-year-old Louisiana folks, they can tell you some stories probably just like that. Texas, because that's what is. No, I'm not knocking you for it. I'm not saying you don't have the right to, but I'm just saying it was different. I mean, there's some things I'm pretty sure that my dad did that my mama stayed no matter what. But like I said, we never saw the argument. I remember getting woke up one time and my brother said to me, "Come on, we got to go. Mama done shot Pop." And I don't know what happened. I don't know who patched the wall up or nothing. I didn't see no hole, but I just know that he never really messed with her anymore. So whatever that was. But that's why I said she knew how to shoot. But it was just the fact that my mama knew that my daddy had two daughters outside of her marriage. And my brother, being the youngest, and they were both younger than him. She knew about it. She asked me, "So did you meet your sisters?" Yeah. I said, "Yeah, I met them." She said something. I said, "Oh, they both older than me." She knew I was lying. But I'm not about to get caught up in whatever they was about to get into. So it's just, marriage is different. I mean, when I go to Louisiana, my cousin's 70-something and his wife is 60-something. But whatever he think he won't, she literally does it. She don't argue. They don't fuss about nothing. She gets built, and she just do. It's a different, down in that area, down south, it's a different upbringing. Let me say, it's a different upbringing. So, just a minute. So most time people talk about Western women or whatever. Like they say Jamaican, African men don't like Americanized black women because they talk back too much. The African man will tell you that they women literally don't talk back. They don't raise their voice. Different things. So it's a yes. Mm-hmm.
It don't make sense for a woman not to have a voice. But I wasn't gonna say that. But you couldn't beat me like that. Nowhere in the world.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
My my sister
Mm-hmm.
caught my father with another woman downtown here at McDonald's. He yeah, he had her in the corner talking to him, and my sister went over there. He said, "Oh, what?" He started stuttering,
Mm-hmm.
but she caught him. He fooling around. My mama was the type of person. She was at home all the time. She was. He tried to teach her to drive. She was scared to drive, so she was stuck at home all the time.
Mm. Amen. Yes, sir.
So my challenge is this: would you beat on yourself like you beat on another person? You don't beat on anything that you love.
Mm-hmm.
You nurture it. And so the thing is, would I want to be treated like I treat the next person?
Right.
That's the problem in the church. we want to use the Bible and say, I'm the head. I don't need to tell her I'm the head. I just need to be the head and do what's required of me. If I got to tell the woman I'll wear the pants, why do I need to tell them that? I just need to do the part. And that's the problem. And then we use the Bible where the man is the head of the house. But if you can't take care of bills, then why are you handling the money?
See, now I looked in the household. My daddy did this every Friday. I don't know how much it was, but he come home and he opened up that wallet and he would literally just do one of these.
Yeah.
But my mama always took care of the bills. People say we grew up poor. I don't know that. I never been hungry. We had a chest freezer, one of those stand-up ones in the garage. Every year or every 6 months, they bought a half of beef. So it was full. If we thought we was hungry, we had about 12 houses that we can go to, and every last one of them mamas would feed you. But every last one of them mamas would whoop you if you act up
That's
too.
right.
You know, so when they say it takes a village, we went, that's what it really was. That was the village. So you couldn't tell me that we was poor because I was never hungry. So we didn't go without shoes and clothes and different things. So I was never hungry. But to me, in that sense, that's what marriage was. Marriage was that my parents, both parents in the house, but the village around that whole area. And if you want to act up, my daddy said, boy, look here. Don't make me go get, like my dad would go jump on my buddy's daddy for letting him act that way. That's how we gonna handle this one. I'm not gonna hit your son, but I'm gonna beat you.
But the thing, Elder, the thing is in a marriage, if you see that that's your weak spot and your mate is stronger in that area, what's the big deal? Let them do it.
Presentation.
It does not take away from your status of being a man or being a woman. They're stronger in that area, so let them do it. You know, and the biggest thing is if you're not good with whatever, and you see that your mate is better in that area, let them do it. And you know, all that macho stuff goes out the window. As long as you taking care of what you say, should not be no problem.
Yeah, so
right?
for me, it's never been about letting somebody or letting her do. It is just all about the presentation for me. It sounds strange, but how it's presented to me will determine everything. Absolutely everything. I will get quiet, completely shut down, depending on how you do. And my wife will tell you, I go 2 or 3 days and I will answer questions, but we just not gonna have a conversation. Because I feel like if I start to have that conversation when I'm in that mode, like I don't hear nothing really, I'm gonna say something wrong. So sometimes it's best to let me soak or let me get past it, and then it's like, okay, here we go. Now I can come talk to you, but then this time she just looked at me like, well, since you okay, but I'm not okay. So we got another 2 or 3 days that we're gonna go through.
But Elder, I'm hearing what you're saying, and it makes a lot of sense. But that's marriage growth, though, right?
Right.
It's not like you skipping through the tulips and you just got married. That's marriage growth.
Mm-hmm.
She know who you are. You know who she is, right? And then when y'all come together, okay, it's like water coming off your back. No, nothing lost, right?
Right.
And then more than likely something gained. She learned something, you learned something about each other, right? And so, you know, and each marriage is different. When we first got married, he made me mad. I wouldn't talk to him for a week. Yeah, he tried to make me. I was just, but that you know, after you've been married so long, and you allow God to deal with you, that ain't even godly, right? And another thing I used to say to him all the time, I'm divorcing you. I'm divorcing you, you know? And he would say crazy stuff.
Like, don't let the door hit you with a good
No,
Lord
he didn't
split
say
you?
that. No. No.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry.
No, he didn't say that. Probably somebody else, but not to
Okay,
me.
all right.
And he would say stuff like, well, God gave me you, and I'm not divorcing you, and if you want to divorce, you go down there. It's crazy stuff. But I didn't mean it, but I just wanted to get up under his skin
In the heat of the moment.
and just dig in there.
Mm-hmm.
But that didn't pay off. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But as you grow, you know, you see that, 32 years later, it's like, and I can say this, we don't really argue. Like, to be honest with you, I say what I need to say. He say what he need to say, and in the same breath, where you want to go eat. But before, way before, it's like, I don't want to eat nothing with you. But it comes again with your walk with God and your spiritual growth with your husband or your wife.
Yes.
And in marriage, you got to compromise. There's a lot of compromising.
Yep.
Lots of compromising. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to. And with Pastor, I don't know about y'all, but with Pastor, he'll say, where you want to go eat? No. Or vice versa. And I'll say such and such, and he'll say such and such, and he'll say, no, we're going to go where you want to go. No. We going where you want to go. No. We going where, and you understand what I'm saying? That's what type of man he is.
Mm-hmm.
But we had to grow to that, right? And then I used to say to him, it ain't always my way, honey. It ain't my way. It's our way. But he's comfortable with pleasing me. And then vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
I'm comfortable with pleasing him. And it's easy to please him because he pleases me.
And see, the easy part for me is if I tell my wife all the time, I said, I am the simplest person in the world to deal with. Like, if you go buy me a $2 shirt, and I look at that shirt, and I feel like you really put your heart in this, you didn't just go pick it up because it looked like it fit. You picked it up because you thought of me. I'm as happy as I want to be. I will wear that shirt proudly. My wife, she went to the XL, double X, DXL store and got me them kind of shirts to where it got a little loop on it where it kind of had the sleeves up here. I done got 3 or 4 of them shirts. I'm just so happy I be at work every day with one of them shirts. I'll be just as proud. And I got a $100 gift card. I'm going to give me a couple of more. But it's those small things.
It's the thought, right?
It's the thought of it.
It's the thought of you going out there to look for something and not wait till the last minute to go, right? And then you know that thing gonna bother your mate, right? And so you got to start like months in advance because you going to get me a little shirt like that. Now you can't do me like that.
You do me like that.
But I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You see
I get
the
it.
difference?
It's different, yeah.
You
It's
hear what I'm saying? Saints of God?
You got to know your mate.
You got to know your mate. You know good and well you can't go, amen, and I love the thrift store. But on my birthday, Christmas, and Mother's Day, you better not go get me nothing from no thrift store because I can go get that myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a thrift store shopper. Don't get it wrong. I don't want nobody to get it wrong. But on them days, you better put some effort into it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
That's it. So for me, like I said, it's definitely the thought that you put into what you do for me. And I stopped looking at what something cost a long time ago. So I just got to the point for me, it was like her son and her brother. Well, her brother told me one day, he said, "You're the hardest person to shop for." I said, "Why you say that?" He said, "Because every time I think of something, you just go get it." Well, if I want something, I'm going to go get it. But her son, every year for Christmas, he gave me a $50 Bass Pro Shop gift card. I would take that $50 and go all the way to Manteca. And I'm only going to get a couple of things, but I'm going to do it because he thought enough of me to give me that Bass Pro Shop gift card. It's like if you want to know what I like to fish. I don't care how much stuff I got. If you give me a Bass Pro Shop gift card, I'm going to go spend it. And I am just as proud as I want to be. She know I go to DXL. She got me a gift card. What you want? She like, no. She told me. She said, I told her, I said, what you want? And she wanted some perfume. And I said, okay, then what I need you to do is tell me either we go, or you tell me what you want. So I went looking for it, and there was 2 different prices. There was one for like 135, one for 160. I really like this one. And I'm looking at it. I got my Macy's card. It's probably a $2,000 limit on it. So I think, I'm looking at it. I'm like, maybe I should get the 150, 135 I mean. But what I'm saying is I got the other one because it was bigger. But what I realized is that the cologne she buys me probably slightly more than that. And it's really not about the price, but it's about the fact that she thought enough of me to do it. So for me, I have to be the one to do the same thing. And I'm not saying we're going tit for tat or nothing, but it's like if that's what you want and it's affordable for me, then let's do it. But understand that if I bring you the $135 about that means that's all I had to give instead of 150. Yes, ma'am.
Nitpick on me on that thing. It's like a sword. You keep on picking. People don't usually bust up about big things. It's
Yeah.
the little things. As long as the Bible says the little foxes destroy it, that's what it is. We got to be mindful of that because you think because you ain't slapped me upside my head or something, but just the way you, like you said, the way you talking to me, or the way you look at me and stuff.
Mhm.
Those are things that tears like granite, like rocks. They just turn your sand sometimes.
Yes.
By little. And so we have to be careful of that because it ain't always the big things. It's the little
It
things
really
that
isn't.
destroy something.
Yep. All right, I'm sorry, y'all. Lee, you next. I think we went through the lesson. We didn't go through the lesson.
Yeah, I just had one question.
Yes, sir.
What should you tell someone who's struggling in their marriage? What advice could you give someone struggling in their marriage?
2 things.
What
would it-
what should you tell a couple struggling in their marriage?
2 things for me. You really need Christian counseling first and foremost. You gotta have. When I talk about Christian, you gotta have people who are Bible led. That's go counsel you in a proper way. But when you really get together and begin to pray for one another, no matter what you may be going through, I told my, I can't pray and ask God to change you, but I'm praying and ask God to change me. But I'm asking Him to allow you to see what's going on in you, and that you will ask God to change you. So that pray and counseling, godly counseling. Elder Tenor.
A person, if you are having problems in a marriage, first of all, I think I've shared this with somebody. First thing you need to do is to listen to each other. See, we can sing together all day long, but we can't talk together. One has to talk, one has to listen. And you really have to pay attention to what each other is saying so that you can make sure you get to the actual thing you need to deal with, the root of it. Okay, I hear you now. Now I can deal with that. Yes. But if you talking back, I'm talking back, you can't accomplish what it is you're trying to get to. That's the first thing. The second thing, keep everybody out your business.
That's the key right there.
Yes.
You got to deal with your stuff. And when you can't deal with it, you don't bring everybody, especially family, into your stuff. You go to your leaders.
Mm-hmm.
We got to be able to hear. And you can't get no attitude. When somebody is telling you something, you can't get an attitude. I used to get attitude, but I had to learn to listen. Because if I have an attitude, I have shut down.
Mm-hmm.
And I have selective hearing.
Yes.
And but you saying you hear, but you really not hearing because you just shut them out because I'm upset.
Yep.
And I'm frustrated. And I used to be like that. It's a thing with, my dad knew how to sew.
Mm-hmm.
He taught us how to sew. I went to college. My brother, myself, and my sister. She was alteration person, knew how to make dressing, knew how to make pants. Me and my brother that's right up above us.
Mm-hmm.
So student don't sew, I sew. When things need to be done, that's not being that I'm weak.
Right.
Because I know how to sew.
Yeah.
Honey, can you alter this for me? Yeah, but don't do it. Don't give it to me at 11 o'clock at night.
Right.
And I'll be getting frustrated, but I get frustrated. I told you don't be giving it, but I still do it.
Right.
But because I have something picked out, and then all of a sudden she got she done changed her mind. And what I'm saying, does it get frustrating sometimes? Yes, it do.
Mm-hmm.
But you know your mate.
Right.
And I may say something, but I still do what I need to do. She may say something, but she still do what she needs to do. We gotta listen. Just because you say I hear you, don't mean that you hear me.
Right.
If you get an attitude and you get the fussing back, you're not listening.
Nope.
If you got to say something to the negative, you being negative, criticism is not always negative. You taking it negative, but it's positive because I'm trying to enhance you, to build you up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking out for you. Sometimes I don't like the colors that Sister Goodness. You're always getting pink, a hot pink, or all of that. But I wear it. And guess what? Somebody will say that.
It bring out your tone.
Mm-hmm.
I got a pink shirt because the lady said it brings out your tone. I said, lady, I ain't got no tone. You trying to sell me a pink shirt? But I bought the pink shirt and I wore it with my best looking suit, and I got compliments. So, yeah.
If you got to keep on repeating the same thing about what's bothering you, how easy is it to just fix it so we can move on?
I'm glad you said that, and we got to get out of here. But so I was talking to somebody, and we were talking about insanity. And the word is that if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results, it's insanity. But I asked the question, well, do we consider God insane? Because we sin over and over and over again, and we expect different results. But we expect him to do the same thing. But do we never call God insane? But we keep on. That's why we have to die daily to our flesh. But we keep doing some of the same things. So in other words, what I'm saying is we want to beat people up for what we call as being insane, but we never call God insane because God is saying, I keep forgiving you and forgiving you. We keep doing some of that same stuff so much, and he still yet forgive us. And I asked the question. Somebody said, well, how do you know he forgave you? Because I'm still here. If he was done with me, I'd be dead and gone, ready to go to the lake of fire. Elder Love, before I bring Pastor up, you had something you was going to say, Elder Tenor, I mean? Oh, okay. I saw a look on your face. Elder Love? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's a trip. It's a lot of times people call me when Mother Margie tonight, Elder Tenor. And I'm like, where you at? She was talking to me. So sometimes we get mixed up. Charge it to our hearts and out of our minds, But thank y'all, and I'm sorry that we didn't get deep into the lesson, but I think it was worth what we did tonight. I think we helped some people. I helped me. Let me say that. I know I had got some help myself. So thank everybody. And you youngins, yes. One more question.
So marriage is a holy thing that makes God proud, right? But are all marriages holy? No. Okay, gotcha. So, true. So, let's see. Okay, that is my question. Yeah, because I was going to say, so those that follow, let's say like, what's those, Allah or whatever. Yeah. So when they get married, are they making God proud? Not. That's my question.
According to their religion.
To their religion.
It's according to what you believe. If you believe that what you are doing is holy, in your eyesight, yes, it's holy. But if you ask us, according to our Bible, no, it's not. And all that stuff is not holy. You know, but it's just people like Jehovah's Witnesses. You can't change their mind about nothing. They say Jesus died on the torture stake. He did this. He did that. They said like this. Well, it's a sin that I used to study with them when I was a youngin'. And they say, well, it's a sin to drink. So when my niece got married, I went over one of the elders' house, and there was 3 empty bottles of 151 rum. So I'm a little bit crazy sometimes. I say, so who sinned in the house? They're like, what you mean? I say, because I drink that 151, and I know what it do to you. So who drank that and sinned? They're like, no, it's not a sin to drink. It's a sin to get drunk. I say, see, now y'all lying. You can't. Yeah, it's like you can't tell me it's bad for me to do because I'm a kid or whatever. And my daddy let me drink, so I drank. But in other words, I know what that 151 will do to you. And there's 3 empty bottles. But your teaching all my life that I can remember said that it was a sin to drink. But in their heart of hearts, they believe what they believe. They not giving up on it. My niece, oldest niece now, is a Jehovah's Witness. She's married. She go to these Kingdom Hall meetings and stuff. But they done kicked her out. They done reproved her. They told my other niece that if her sister stayed at her wedding, they was taking all their stuff and leaving. And then, so I'm strange anyway. There was a sister, Mother Kitchen, I think her name was Sister Kitchen. She, Jovan, just talked bad about us. So when I became a preacher, I saw her in San Francisco. I double parked on 3rd Street and I ran up about the library. Guess who I am now? Because you didn't think I was going to amount to nothing. But God called me a preacher. God has called me an elder, but I wanted her to see. Because your belief system wouldn't allow me to be something that I am right now. So everything hinders on what somebody's belief system is. Amen. All right. Yeah. Elder Love, Elder Love coming up. He got questions, and I don't know if y'all can answer the questions because we didn't get deep.